Welcome everybody, this is MTG Joe back with a second video in our series that will hopefully be helping that new player to Magic the Gathering. So in our first video we talked about how to learn the game, so we're at this point, you know how to play the game, you can get through it, you know some mechanics. So now what do I do now that I know how to play? Well, if you figure out what kind of player are you? If you're a casual player, you enjoy the game, it's neat, you just want to play with friends every once in a while, there's a couple of different options or some advice that I have for you to get some cards or how to play, maybe a little more wisely than what I did. The first one would be maybe to buy a Planeswalker deck. I'm going to put a link in the description to the professor and a video talking about Planeswalker decks, but I'm going to give you a spoiler. For new players, buy one. It's a great way to start off. They cost, I think, $15. You get a Planeswalker deck, you get a Planeswalker card, and a playable deck. You also get a couple of boosters, so you get to crack those open and add to that deck. It's a great way to get started and a lot of fun, and it's $15. Something else, just for casual play, it doesn't fit any sanctioned formats like standard or modern or anything like that, is cardkingdom.com. They sell what's called battle decks, and they're just casual decks that have a central focus, or the deck has synergy, and I believe they're $10 to $12 for a 60 card playable deck. Great way to learn some other mechanics from different times, different sets, and just play a great casual game. Of course, you can buy a couple of packs, $4 a piece, and put together some kind of deck. I wouldn't really advise that, because you don't know what you're getting. It's very, very random. Also, you could just go to your local game shop or whatever and buy some commons, uncommons for 10 cents to 25 cents or whatever, and put some cards together that you like and play that. But I would, if you're going to be a casual player, don't throw a lot of money at it, because it's easy to do that, as I'll talk about later. Now, if you learn the game and you're like, wow, this is great, this is going to be a lot of fun, I like the mechanics, I like the theme, that's where I was. I wanted to get into the game, I wanted to play a lot, but I jumped in maybe a little too fast, a little too deep. I spent a lot of money that I didn't need to. It was just kind of wasn't wise. The first thing I did right after I learned to play the game, after going through the duels tutorial, was I bought a commander deck off a guy. I paid like $40. I played that deck twice, and I mean, that's fine, but wasn't a good use of $40. I wanted to play something besides standard, because standard takes a long time and I didn't necessarily have a lot of chances to play long games. So I bought a budget standard deck, and it was like $15, I think is what I paid. I found a list online for the current game, the current standard rotation, $15. He put it together for me. It was a blast. I got to play it 4 or 5 games at lunch at the local game shop a couple of times, or maybe 3 or 4 times. And then at night, when I had time, I went to the game shop, and there was 2, maybe 3 times that I was able to somebody was there to play, that wanted to play some games. Of course, I had a budget deck, they had a better deck, but I was still learning. I didn't care. I was getting reps in, or as you hear, I was grinding out games, which was good, and I let them know, hey, I'm a beginner, I'd forget to tap characters when I went to attack, and they would always be turning my cards. But great guys, thanks a lot. So I went on, so I bought the commander deck, I bought a standard deck, then I upgraded my standard deck, and I added a few more cards and some better lands. So probably put another $20, maybe $30 into it. So kind of moving it up. It was the red-green aggro deck from Kaladesh. I may put a link in there. Dev at SBMTG and the professor is kind of mixed between their two, and then some advice from other guys. Had a blast. Had about $30 to $50 into it, and that was fine. But I didn't get to play it much. That was my problem. My problem. This is just me personally. I've got a good job. I can spend a little bit of money on cards. I just didn't have time. Don't have as much time to always be at the shop, or be at the shop when a lot of guys are playing. I went on. I also spent money. The new 4-color commanders came out, so I just bought all 5 of those. I started buying packs. I bought a couple of boxes of a booster box, for no other reason but to open packs. I'm a Magic player now, and that's what you do. You open packs. And you know, I'm also a collector, which is difficult because it's like, oh, I need the whole set. Well, I wanted to have the whole set. I didn't need to. I wasn't building a deck, and you know, there's tons of videos out there from Tulare Community College, the professor there, talking about if you're building a deck, buy singles, not booster packs. That randomness, you're just it's throwing away a lot of money, and just for the chance, it's like buying lottery tickets, you know. So that's just where it is. Looking at my notes here, I did a couple of drafts. Or I did at the beginning. I did one draft. I was able to make it to the shop on Saturday and did a booster draft. I didn't know what I was doing. All I knew about the current set was what was in my standard budget deck. Those were the only cards. I hadn't even learned the deck. I'd been playing Magic for about 5 or 6 weeks, and you know, it was fun. It was an experience, but you know what? It's $15 that I could have spent, you know, better, or 12. Maybe it's $12, but it was money that I could have spent better than that booster draft. So the thing was, I'm not available on Friday nights to make it to Friday Night Magic, F&M. Saturdays are difficult for me. I usually go into work about 4 or 4:30 in the afternoon, so I can't make it to draft, or I can't finish the draft, or if they're having a standard tournament. My shop's small. We only have, you know, maybe 8 to 10 people show up for standard tournament, but I've got you know, leave before the final rounds. So what my advice, all that being said, my advice is figure out, you know, what events are going on at your local game shop. See when people are playing certain formats. What are they playing on Friday Night Magic? If they play standard on Friday Night Magic and you're available, man, get into standard. That works out great. Or if you have Saturdays off, you're a student, or your work schedule allows you, you're always off on Saturday or most Saturdays, hey, get into whatever format, or find out when gals get together to play Commander. My problem was I wasn't able to make it to the local game shop and play as much as I wanted to, because I wanted to play every day and a lot. So that's what got me to find out about Magic the Gathering Online, MTGO. And that's where I play now 90% of my games, so that's where 90% of my Magic gaming dollars go to. And so what I'm going to do is have a series of videos on smart and inexpensive ways to play a ton of Magic and have a blast playing Magic online. My first video is going to be what you get for your $10 initial investment, and all the ways and all the things you can do just with that. So we're going to dive into that, as well as put out some content on ways to inexpensively get into slowly and wisely into paper Magic as well. Hey, thanks for watching the video. Click on the thumbs up or subscribe. In the next video, we are going to have some giveaways, and then also talk about some upcoming contests that we're going to have, and it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, that's all I have for now. This is MTG Joe signing out.